Well, this is the Turtle Reads. I'm Clay, and we have Melissa here, of course, with us, and we have a great guest today, Reier Cammerman.
Hi.
Hey, Reier.
Yay.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this episode done for about a month now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's been bouncing around for multiple different reasons.
We've had several different books, and I'm going to be honest, none of them of which I've read. The one today I have not read in probably 10 years, but I do remember it well.
We've all read The Giving Tree at some point in our life.
Yeah, no, I did choose a children's book.
Yeah,
I chose
which is
a
perfect.
children's book.
It's
Yeah. Even if you don't remember anything about The Giving Tree, if you read it, you get you always get that appropriately haunted feeling of sorrow from it, which is basically the takeaway from that book.
Yeah, it gets pretty sad, pretty beautiful.
That's what I forgot. Like, I had forgotten how depressing it is. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's like,
you said sad and beautiful though.
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty accurate.
Sad.
Yeah,
that's what I always liked about it.
But it does. Oh, one thing she had sent me. I had seen a little bit of. I didn't watch the full thing whenever I first saw it, but your video of you as a tree.
Oh, it's not doing well on the socials. I think it's freaking people out.
I think it's great.
I loved it. That was hilarious.
There's just that you have kind of like an outsider aesthetic, right?
Yeah,
so
like out. Yeah,
you're just gonna have to find your tribe.
For sure. That's what I've been noticing. Yeah.
Or your forest, I guess.
My forest, my flowers, the people
your orchard. Your orchard.
Yes, my pumpkin patch.
Yes. You ever hung out in a pumpkin patch?
Hide out in one? Like
hang out.
Oh, hang out. That's different than hiding, I think. But yeah, no, I have.
You have? What's your favorite place to hang out at?
Ooh, well, when
like your secret place. Well,
am I with people or not with people?
Not with people.
Not with people. I like my room because I've set it up to be like a writing room. I mean, I have 9 mirrors, and they're all around my room. And I have so my bed I'll flip up onto the wall, and then I'll just have this big space, and I have like a mic stand, and I taped a stage.
So you have like a Murphy bed?
No, it's a normal bed. I just flip it up.
Reier, that's like her one moment of rage she allows herself.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, I'm a tree. I'm a tree.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I do love my room just because I don't know. I love dancing and turning music on and just kind of doing really weird things. And it's hard to do that in public.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to have ADD in public. I agree.
Yeah, I know it's true. What's your favorite place to go, you guys?
I made a place in a closet where I live.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's this closet that's shaped strangely. It's kind of shaped like a triangle, like an isosceles triangle, really.
I don't know what that means.
Like a triangle, the triangles with the short one end, but then the long other 2 ends.
Yes.
So it kind of has that shape. And then I think it's just that the house was weirdly shaped, so it just ended up being that way. But it's big enough to fit a small desk and a chair.
That's awesome.
And so I really pimped it out. I put like wallpaper all over it, and plants like that don't need a lot of light, and lavender, and just like stuff. Good scent, good smell. It's like a nice little place. I go and I sit there, and that's where I write.
Yeah, she also does. Melissa explains the classics in her closet.
Yes, I do.
Ooh, what classics?
She reads classic literature and then
Western classics, but basically have done 2 videos. And I'm working on the 3rd, but it takes a while because it's hard to condense that kind of stuff down to something that's consumable.
Oh, for sure. So you just talk about it, or do you?
Well, I tried talking about it, but that kind of was long-winded. Because when you read something really dense, it gives you all the thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So you think about all this kind of shit, and you want to talk about all of it, right? So it was just too rambly. So I just ended up doing sort of comedy essays. So
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one you did about what was the Russian book?
Gulag Archipelago.
Yeah, that one I watched that. That was really good. And then it got like a week after you released, it got demonetized and shit.
Well, it got shadow banned. Yeah.
Shadow banned.
Why did it get demonetized?
Just because it was about
yeah.
Russia.
It's about Russia. I say a lot of words that, like, right at that time, they started cracking down on.
Oh, okay.
And I missed the memo. So, like, all the words, everything, just all up on there. Like, Justin's going to have to cut that part, right? So it's just like, you can't say that anymore. And
yeah, it used to be you could talk about all you wanted.
all you wanted.
I mean, I remember those
Now that
days.
stuff's just, you got to just do it on Twitter. Right? Yeah.
Wait, no, we came up with a new term for that. Boofing a dick.
Boofing a dick.
Does
Yes,
that work?
indeed.
Oh,
It's nice, right? Kind of
yeah,
poetic.
boofing.
Yeah. Did you say that?
Yeah, that was me.
Clay came up with that. Yeah. Trademark.
great,
Clay.
Clay.
Trademark me.
Yeah.
BAD.
Oh, bad. Oh,
Bad.
that's so good.
Bad.
Bad, because it is kind of bad, isn't it?
But it's like bad
This
in
is
that good
developing
way.
even more. Awesome. I like this. We'll have some bad merch. It'll be a turtle boofing a dick.
Oh, that's funny. What if a turtle's like boofing a book or
Yeah.
something?
We can only
Oh.
advertise this podcast on Twitter. That's it.
And Rumble. We got Rumble too.
Maybe Rumble, yeah.
Get a Patreon.
But Twitter seems to be the place where you show videos of things with things up their butts. Like
Yeah.
that guy at the gas station. Did you see that?
No.
Wait, I don't know if I've seen this.
Oh my God! It was like Joe Rogan. You can't even show this, but it was Joe Rogan retweeted some video of some old guy hanging out at a gas station. He thought he was all alone, and I think this must have been this guy's favorite place, to be honest, because he took the nozzle of one of the gas pumps, yeah, and
Oh, I
he
get that.
had
No.
it squarely up his bum, like way up like he was
Yo.
checking himself for polyps with it, you know,
Wow.
and you know, hard on, but he's just pants down to his knees and just nozzle up the butt, and he's just kind of hanging out there.
That
like,
is super
like he was trying to
dangerous.
decide whether he was going to get some
It's
Twinkies.
insanely damn good.
Yeah.
That's super dangerous. Like gas
course.
getting into your bloodstream, especially through your asshole. That you could die really easily from
Maybe he was
multiple things.
Trying to commit suicide, and he just didn't know the other ways. He didn't know he didn't know his options.
There's no easier option than gasoline up your ass.
Well, do you think he was pumping gasoline, or was he just using the thing?
I think he was
Well,
just using the thing.
he wasn't pumping
Well, but
gasoline.
we will never know because he
Even if he wasn't-
realized that he was getting filmed, so he took it out real quick. You
Even
know?
if he
That's
wasn't
good.
pumping, there's gas on the nozzle from like the last person who pumped.
He might have cleaned it
there's
off.
if you're homeless and you're sticking a gas pump up your ass, I doubt you're wiping
No,
anything down.
Let's be clear. I don't think he was homeless. I think this was just a man.
Really?
This was
Oh.
just a grandpa.
Okay.
Why
Just
wouldn't
some
you
guy.
step into your car or something? Like park really close to it and get into your car.
Yeah.
don't know.
That makes more sense. Like, yeah,
mean,
just
none of
open the
this makes
driver's
any
side
sense.
door. Fucking like, yeah.
Park
Yeah.
really close. Yeah, bring it into your car. Put a jacket over you or something.
Well, then people will think you're trying to commit suicide. They'll intervene, right? But if he's just kind of standing around freaking everybody out, nobody will get close to that guy. He
Yeah.
can finish.
Yeah, then they just think he's just a crazy person.
Yeah.
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 This is great. This is good. The giving gas pump. That's what that children's story
That's
is.
the modern version.
Yeah.
It's all intertwined.
It's all about a sexual deviant in love with a gas station, and it gives him everything all the time until it's left with nothing. Just
There
a
was-
rusty pump.
I think somebody made like a parody of the Giving Tree where the Giving Tree and the dude had sex at the end and shit.
No,
Oh.
there was a Robot Chicken
Yes.
remake of it,
Yes.
which was pretty funny because the Giving Tree just goes, "Oh no, I'm not the Giving Tree. It's over there, right?" So then the kid walks over to that tree, and the tree pulls down his pants and goes, "I'm the raping tree."
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Yes.
like, "You're mine, boy," and it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious. God, Robot Chicken was fucking the best.
It was.
They one of my favorite little skits that I still remember. It's one of the short ones. It's just a rabbit hopping through a carrot patch, and all of a sudden one of the carrots jumps out of the ground. Is a big monster teeth fucking carrot, grabs the rabbit and eats it, and then goes, Did that blow your mind? It was just fucking wild.
Is that the taking rabbit? I mean, no, taking carrot, right? Yeah, the taking carrot.
I love absurdist stuff like that, where it's just like something. That's why I love Family Guy. You know, I don't watch it a lot, but like, I just don't really like TV a lot. But if I do watch something, I might watch Family Guy because it's so like the little scenes they'll do.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, so absurdist and alty, and you would never think about that.
Yeah, I feel like Robot Chicken and Family Guy both have that like quick, rapid fire, like sketch element where it really, really connects with people with like ADD and ADHD and shit. Because like with Robot Chicken, it's like sketch, and then Family Guy, it's literally just at any point he could be like, remember that time where blah, blah, blah? And yeah, it's just automatic.
I think that just means people with ADD are, you know, they get bored with normal punchlines, and it's intriguing to see something that goes in a different direction.
Yeah, that's why I say it connects with them really, really well. Like, Robot Chicken was one of my favorite fucking shows on Adult Swim. The stuff that they would come up with too. Yeah. I honestly kind of wanted to work for. I looked at the stop motion for a good minute and shit. That seems so fun to me.
It's really fun to do animation. I've done some animations, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Stop motion, I can't even imagine.
Oh, it's insane.
Have you ever tried animation?
No, I just remember seeing like a documentary or something about stop motion animation where it's like the amount of time it takes. It's like a whole day for like a couple minutes or less.
They have this one dude who's doing like his Japanese stop motion movie, and he's on YouTube. He's literally putting out like the behind the scenes like filming of the filming, and it's so like tedious. I'm like, I want to watch and learn.
You can't even do. They have to do it like a time lapse. They have to do like a quick one because you can't just sit there and watch somebody like move something 2 centimeters over. You know?
Yeah.
That would feel like watching somebody with intense OCD. You know, like you're just that's kind of the feeling. You just watch them for 2 hours, just kind of go, it's better here.
Could you imagine if someone with OCD had that like a stop motion? I guess maybe
they'd probably be fantastic at it.
Yeah,
they'd probably be good.
Yeah, that would be the perfect job for them.
Yeah, you just keep redoing like the scenes though.
You're doing the same shot for like 3 hours. Just no, I think it was supposed to be a little bit to the right. God dang it!
He's like the Alfred Hitchcock of his animation team. He's just like again. Everyone's crying. You know, the PA is just like I have a. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Take a picture every time. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Plus, somebody with ODD doing that kind of animation, you wouldn't even know when they're doing the animation and when they're just doing life, right? It's like you'd be following them around and
yeah.
And it'd be like, no, I was just going to go use the bathroom. It's like, I'll be right back. Yeah. It's like, but you look like you were. Okay. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So what particular reason did you choose The Giving Tree?
I've always liked The Giving Tree a lot. I think it was one of the first. Well, as a kid, I loved Shel Silverstein, and as an adult, I do too. I mean, just the ridiculous angles he takes with and the way he kind of makes it. I love rhyming. I always have. I really love rhyming. I mean, some people I think poetry. You know, it doesn't need to rhyme. It doesn't need to rhyme, but I've always really enjoyed that. I think The Giving Tree kind of, it was probably the first story that I heard that was like personifying an object in such a beautiful way. I love personification. Like making something that's not real have a personality is so cool to me.
Nice.
What do you think the tree, like what's the tree for you? What do you see the tree in your everyday life? Like in because, you know, there's a lot of feminist analysis of that book.
Oh, really?
There was, yeah. Because that guy, which by the way, have you seen a picture of that guy?
Yeah.
Shel Silverstein?
I was showing it around the other day. Okay. Most of the pictures of Shel Silverstein in the back of his book have him spread out like this.
Yeah.
Like fucking.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The most like creepy.
Well, his face is would be very scary for certain kinds of sensitive kids.
Yeah, large.
You see that one on the top
teeth.
left? That's the
left.
one that's in the book mostly.
I thought he was like a guy with a white beard.
No,
I don't know
he's
why.
this
No.
guy. He's
And then
this
the
guy.
third picture is one that I've seen a bunch.
Yeah, the one with the
top
legs.
row, with the legs spread wide.
Mm-hmm.
That one I've seen a bunch in a couple of his books, and
That's crazy to put that in a children's book.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the author references reading The Giving Tree, but then being terrified of the last part of it, the cover, because he didn't want to look at the author's face. Like he thought this Shel Silverstein was gonna haunt him, like meet him in the hallway or something while he wanted to use the bathroom at night.
Yeah,
So-
I do remember Where the Sidewalk Ends. That was a
Yeah,
good
I remember
one.
that.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wrote some really good shit, but I think there was also a controversy. I think he might have gotten busted for some child stuff.
I don't think he did. Did he?
Maybe.
Where did you see that?
I thought I saw it like a long time ago, and then I think
Well, he I think wrote for Playboy or was affiliated with them for a while.
Really?
Yeah, but he was, like a writer. A lot of people are or have been.
yeah, I wouldn't fault him if it was just writing for Playboy.
You wouldn't fault him for child porn if he was just writing for Playboy. Oh, okay. I was like, what?
If the only controversy was him writing for Playboy,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean,
yeah.
it's not really
I don't
related.
care
It's
about
just a
that.
job.
Yeah.
Kid, unfriendly love.
No,
Yeah. Well, the thing with, I don't think he even liked kids. He
Well, that-
never.
that
had-
would be hilarious.
I think he's quoted as saying like he never intended to write for children at all, and it's something he kind of fell into and just happened to be really good at. And he never had a kid, but even though he was with loads of women, I think he said it was probably in the thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see that. Like anybody, especially like a man that's very poetic and good with his words.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, look at him. He's like a potent wild man.
Yeah, he looks like he's got
That's
a lot of
kind of
sperm.
guy. That's kind of guy. Yeah, exactly. A woman's horny enough standing at the edge of the woods. You see that guy walk out, covered in twigs. You probably follow him back in, just to see what's up.
It's so funny.
Despite what everyone says about bears or whatever the
Oh, dude, yeah.
so stupid.
How? Yeah, you said you did that at New York. They fucking freaked
I
out.
tried it, but this is the thing that pissed. The bear thing.
No.
Okay,
Man
this
or bear?
internet meme that came from some guy asking on some forum. I don't know, was it Twitter? Whatever. Whether he's like, women, ladies, would you, if you were alone in the woods, would you rather run into a bear or a man?
Oh wait, I have heard about this.
It's that whole thing, yeah. And the other women
Okay.
were like bear. And the thing is, it's like, I'm a woman, right? I know what this is about, right? This
Sure.
is like post-Me Too resentment, right? And this is just like bitches being spiteful.
Yeah.
Like if I thought for a second that they had really generously considered the options and like, what do I think though, right? It's not, they didn't even think about it for a second, like bear. And it's not even, they didn't give a shit about it. They don't think about it. It's pure unadulterated spite. That's why they said bear. It was just to kind of jab at men, just as an abstract.
Yeah, it kind of seems. I definitely don't think that it'd probably be a good idea. I mean, if you do have the choice, because nobody say like, oh, like a bear or like a man that like that has like that's like a sexual predator,
Yeah.
or like that. No, it could just be a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard one.
It's more likely to be a cool guy than a cool bear. Do you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Also, like, you gotta expand the question, right? You're in the woods alone. I don't know why, you dumb bitch, right? But you're there.
Yeah, why is
Fine.
this happening?
Yeah. I don't know why you went to the woods alone, you dumbass. But you're there. Okay,
Now
fine.
that we're there, yeah, this is a good point. Melissa.
Yeah. She's looking for tampons. I don't know. She goes in the woods, right? And then she's standing in the middle, and then there's a bear on this side and a man on this side, right? What fucking side you gonna run, bitch? Right? You're running to the man.
Why don't
okay?
you go one of the two sides that's not?
You do that too.
Yeah, there's like
Well,
bear, man, and then there's just like trees.
I would
Or
run
just-
towards the man.
Yeah.
I run towards the man, run past him, trip him, he falls. I keep running.
Oh.
Right? That's my plan. But yeah.
No, yeah, I'd heard some guy bring up this whole question and come up with a nice like way to kind of frame it for the women who say bear. He's like, okay, let's say you're walking through the woods alone and you see a bear and it sees you, and then you look over to your right and there's a man just sitting on a stump. He doesn't see you yet. Would you go get the man to try to help you with the bear issue? And all of them said yes.
That's what I'm saying.
And then he's like, okay, so if you would go and get the man to help you with the bear, why wouldn't you just choose the man in the first place instead of the bear?
They're not. But here's the thing. Here's where men are stupid, right? Here's where men fuck up, right? Because he just that's a framing where you assume that the reason why women said bear was logic based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is not that women can't make logical decisions. Is that they know what the logical answer is. It's pure spite. And the fact that it's like men cannot get it through their heads that like men cannot cope with an illogical answer, which is how women fuck with men.
Yeah.
That's how it's easy to fuck with men. You just give them that's why they think we're retarded, right? Because we just say whimsical random shit to them because we know it deranges them.
We know it's not right.
We know it's not right. Women do it either because it's just fun to watch you implode, you know, like because you can't deal with like illogical things that don't fit into the cube of your brain, you know? So we just like to like throw a little terrorism in there, you know, just kind of like some like a round peg for a square hole kind of deal, you know? And then the man is just kind of like, it doesn't fit though, but don't you understand that it doesn't fit, right? And the woman's just like, anyway, I'm gonna go out with the girls, I'll see ya. And it's just like So it's just this miscommunication between men and women. That's at the core of it. That man versus bear thing.
Yeah.
Melissa, you would destroy on the Whatever podcast. You
Why?
would fucking murder.
Well, I don't deny anything. You know, the thing is, look, the thing about the observations of women towards men and men towards women is that they're both right. You know?
Yeah.
And then and we're also both wrong.
Well,
So
yeah. The women are more right or correct with emotional issues, and then guys are more correct with logical issues in general. But yeah, whenever they start like trying to mix the two or fuck around with like getting emotional over something that should be logic based, like do you want to run into a bear in the woods? Mm-hmm. Then it gets to where the guys are like, well, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah, but you don't get it. You don't. That's the thing. Is like you don't get that it was pure spite. Yeah. It was just for what happened.
I do. That's why I did the whole thing on Facebook that you had seen and shit. That like
he starts arguing with people on Facebook about.
Oh, I believe that. That's amazing.
I mean,
do you ever try to argue with people online?
No, never. I tend to agree. Like they've.
That's the right decision.
Lately, that's been happening since I've been posting more. I've been getting people. Like I posted a clip about Club Penguin. How I used to like cross dress on Club Penguin, just like a ridiculous. And then somebody came out and said, "I can't fucking stand you." And I just went, "Oh, I get it."
Did you type that?
Yeah.
You should have been
hilarious.
like, me neither.
Oh yeah.
No, I get it. It's perfect.
I get it. Well, that tends to be if it's like really, really aggressive. Typically, I'll just go, "Oh no, I mean." A lot of times it's like, "Oh, you're not funny." I go, "Yeah, no, that happens. I mean, not really working towards that. Just kind of fit, you know, just a Reier learning to love, doing our best."
Yeah, basically. So you do basically with absurdism what women do for spite, like whimsically.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like women will do more of they tend to do more like a spiteful whimsy, right? Like, I don't know, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess it is like that.
Yeah, but you do like, I'm going to turn into a tree.
Oh.
Checkmate, right? And everybody's like, what the fuck just happened, right? And then, then that's how you just continue on your way and you do your own thing.
I definitely do that with like genders. Like, "Oh, you don't look like a woman." Okay, well, maybe I'm an octopus.
Yeah. See?
"Oh, can I not be an octopus?"
Yeah.
It's like, no. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. Oh, am I not a woman? I just kind of, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. None of the things I say make sense.
No, but this is perfect. This is what you do. Because sometimes too much logic is dumb.
It's just boring now, too, because especially with like AI and everything, I don't know. I think that's why I've chosen to go so alty with comedy is that, you know, so much, you can just get normal jokes from AI or from the internet. And it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't like comedy that's something anybody could say. You know what I mean? Like if it's a joke that's not directly connected to you, I typically don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want
Yeah.
it to be like
sure.
like it'd be crazy if somebody else said this. Like
Well,
I could say this.
So
Yeah.
you don't like Carlin then? Or do you?
George Carlin, I haven't watched a lot of Carlin.
Well, most of what he says is kind of not really related to him. It is his genuine attitude towards a thing, but he's rarely self-referential.
I've had all 12 of his specials. I watched them like crazy, and I had all 3 of his books. He didn't really write anything personal ever, like anything about his personal life or anything. And his jokes were he had the 3 issues: big world, little world, and language. And pretty much anybody could make ship his fuck on cocksucker motherfucker tits. Like that the 7 dirty words, anybody really could have come up with that. He was just the genius who did come up with it.
Yeah.
But that like for a more personalized take or something where like it's only this person who could really come up with that. Like yours, it's not even that personal, but who else is going like, oh, be relatable, Reier. Talk about the end of the pen cap. Like that's just you. That's
And I guess other people could say it. It's just
haven't seen anybody else do it. So
that's the I think back then, like in Carlin's era, like when he was on, that's a very and I want to retract and say I love observational comedy and I love but I think back then especially it was different because that stuff just hadn't been done yet.
Yeah.
And now that we have like AI and we have all this advanced stuff, that's why I think my mind is going, oh, I want to see more personal comedy because all this other stuff has been done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like talking about dating or like going out talking about the bus or like it's been done. So unless you can, that's why I feel like connecting yourself to it now is so important because it's like I don't know. We already have all
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
AI, let's say, and I oversimplify it, but AI has basically crunched down the data of every single kind of joke that's been written till now, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say, sort of. That's kind of it. So what it generates is sort of it just sort of generates everything. Every new joke it writes is all based on roasts that were written, but it can't ever write things that don't come from that come from a personal experience because it doesn't actually have a personal experience, at least not yet. And then the personal experience that it could have is so unrelatable to us that it would be irrelevant. Like we would not understand what it's, so it would only be able to make comedy for itself.
For sure.
From its own personal experience. But for us, it can only make comedy that's like an emergent property of the comedy we've already made, right? So you're saying like the best bet is to just be so personal because there has not been a Reier, right? There can only be one Reier. So then the data set is too small to immediately capture.
It just came out that AI program that they used to do that George Carlin AI special. The AI program didn't even write the script. They had a comedian write the script.
Some guy wrote it.
Yeah, a guy wrote it, and then they just had the AI voice of George Carlin say the script.
Well, because AI is not.
Yeah, that's even more fucked up because then it's just some random comic writing a George Carlin special, and it's like, I would have felt more comfortable with the AI writing the George Carlin special than another comic taking credit for a George Carlin special. That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but AI is like, it's never. I don't think it can actually be creative in the way that societies need, right? Because everything that we make is kind of a response to what came before. But if AI can only make things that came from before, then it can't really further a narrative yet like we do. Like even though you don't realize it, you're responding, like you just said, you're responding to comedy from before that you kind of don't relate to as much for yourself. Yeah. And that you want to push ahead with something that's unique, that you find more interesting, right? You're kind of following your own path. I don't think an AI can do that. It can't because it doesn't have a path to follow. No,
at least not well. Not yet.
Not yet.
But which is weird to say because the AI is never gonna be alive. It's never gonna be born and die, and because that's.
You don't know that.
You think?
Oh yeah, that could happen.
Maybe.
Artificial human, like an artificial body with a programmable brain, and then
Maybe.
it knows it has a time limit and shit. And yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of dives, that's like you can dive deep into all kinds of questions about like what is cognition and what is consciousness, and people probably a lot smarter than us have done that more effectively. But I mean, I think the gist of it is like consciousness is kind of an emergent property of an experience, right?
Yeah.
And so technically you could say that on some level, maybe AI is kind of conscious, right? But it's conscious in a way that we don't even understand, and conscious in a way that's really rudimentary still. It's still a tool.
For sure.
I think. And if it has any kind of consciousness, it's more like the consciousness of like an insect, just really basic.
Yeah, like an insect.
Functional.
But with, I don't know, with things programmed into it almost, like a robot insect.
Well, we all have things programmed into us. Our hormones program us.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. But I don't think, I don't know, I'm really skeptical about AI contributing creatively for a while. I don't see it happening. I think it'll do? It's going to take away all the like low effort creative jobs for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to take away all the things that basically people with higher levels of creativity do for money.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
I feel like it'll be good.
Like blog writing.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I feel like it would be good for like the structural base for creative processes. Like,
it was based on IQ, right? AI's IQ, whatever its IQ level it's at, the average IQ of all kinds of jobs like that. Let's say if AI gets to like 107 IQ, and then people in finance tend to, on average, have 107 IQ, then it could potentially start taking all of those jobs.
Finance, yeah.
Right. So far, what's happening is like slowly the tide's rising on its IQ levels, right? So first it took away the burger flipper jobs, Now it's taking away the driving jobs, Uber jobs, right? And it just keeps kind of washing up higher and higher based, and it's IQ based,
Yeah.
So
I think that's part of, sorry, is it okay?
Absolutely.
I think that's part of why I think the creativity and the uniqueness of comedy is going to become so important. And it's like, I feel like we're in kind of the beginning of an era of everything's going to get ridiculous. Like not necessarily alti, but like we throwing things at the wall and figuring out a new style. Because I feel like comedy could be traditional. Like somebody could still go up and do a joke. Hey, are you guys dating? Oh, cool. Like and say things that have already been said. But I think we're getting to a point, I don't know, that's like when I moved here and when I saw like Casey, I went, oh, that's possible? Oh, I want to, like, let me do something, not like that. I mean, I was already alti and I was already strange, but to see him do that, I went, oh, other people are trying to do it too. Like, not trying, he's so much higher, but other people are also thinking in a different way, and this is so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It shows you proof that there's a market. There is.
That's what it was.
It is marketable. You do have a space where you can enter as well and be like, oh, he has Casey Rocket and friends. I can find my own little lane in this.
Yeah, people. That's a great way to put it. People love that, and it's not traditional comedy. I can find people that want to see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I can make a career out of it, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think on another level, I think creatively, like creativity, people who are creative instinctively try to run away from convention. Mm-hmm. And AI is conventionalizing certain levels of creativity to where it feels like you're trapped in a box, right? So you want to get away from it. Yeah. And the only way out at the moment is ridiculousness, is silliness, is basically bucking that conformity. Because stand-up's weirdly becoming conformist in a way, or style-wise, because AI... So? I think a certain tier of it is, and I think it's based off of like massive exposure to stand-up has made people, because we are the original AI, right? We are the machine learning, original cognition brain, right? We pick up on patterns and then we emulate them, right? We learn from data sets and when we do the thing, right?
Yeah.
So people have access to stand-up and the conventions of stand-up and observing it on a level that is unprecedented, right?
Yeah.
To where a newer comic already is aware of certain customs about stand-up that people coming in, 30 years before would just be flailing around like, what the fuck do I do? but a person who's watched just endless amounts of comedy specials, right, will kind of come in and know like enough to do what they see. They'll do it poorly because you still got to get on stage.
But they're already miles ahead of, decades ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and but they do it in a weird way too. Like there's a subreddit called stand up workshop or something.
Oh, really?
And I got on it just to see this travesty of, because it's all these people that are too shy to get on stage and they want to get better at stand up. So their solution is to go on a subreddit, and it's like, no, you got to get on. You just have to get on stage. Yeah, and they don't get it. So I just love watching them make that same mistake over and over again, and then they write out entire sets of what they imagine they're gonna do and how it's gonna go, to the point where they'll even be like, pause for laughter. Like you think they're gonna laugh? You're delusional. And I've even been able to identify people who are doing it. Like I can tell when a comic at an open mic is probably from a stand-up workshop background.
Oh, for
because
sure.
they will literally pause. They'll pause and then they'll bomb and then they'll freak out and then start, but then that flailing part that they hate so much, it's like, that's where you start learning.
Yeah.
And they don't get that, but I guess eventually they will.
I do go on my Oculus, the virtual reality headset, every now and then, and they have some comedy clubs in one of the apps, and one of them is you can't curse at all. It's like for kids, and I'm like, why? Okay, fine, have a comedy club for kids, cool. But I went to a few of them, and it was just like that. It was basically because you're safe. You don't like. You could make yourself look like a banana. You know, like you're going on stage. It's nothing. It's not you at all. You're Big John 59 banana. So you get to say whatever you want, but they're like trying out the stand up, and like also you can just grab a bottle and like throw it at the stage and shit. So it's all this stuff happening, but they're unfazed by anything. So they're just like doing this.
Yeah, it's safe comedy.
I have this set up like this, and this is how it's going to work. And I know these people in this virtual reality world aren't going to laugh at my particular jokes, but I know that if I go on stage, that if I do this pause here and this and this and this, it's going to work out.
Pretend.
Yeah.
And it's more like stand-up cosplay then at that point.
Yeah.
You're like LARPing.
That is what it is.
Stand-up LARPing.
Stand-up LARPing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I think that's probably I think it's going to continue. I think stand-up LARPing is just going to become its own thing.
Yeah. I think if you need, I mean, because I don't know, I was lucky in that I think I had the performance aspect didn't scare me. I feel more comfortable performing than I do talking and conversation.
Me too.
Like you do? Yeah. It's amazing. I don't know what it is.
I have I don't even feel comfortable talking to people until I've been awake long enough to prepare myself for it.
For sure. No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They had one comedian release a special with no audience. You remember who that was?
Drew Michael. Oh, Maria Bamford did it. Yeah, the special. Huh? Drew Michael did it.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Did Bo Burnham do it?
He did it with the inside. Is that what it's called, right? That special? He did it with that one.
I think a few people have done. I think Maria might have been the first. She did her parents there.
Yeah, she's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was one of my OG favorites when I first started.
I haven't let myself watch her in probably 9 or 10 months.
Yeah, I got it.
Just because I think I was taking too much influence because I love her so much. And she's so, her and Casey are the two that are my two favorite comedians because they're so absurd. And then I was just watching her all the time because I didn't connect to traditional comics. So she was the only one. And so I just think I was taking too much. So I don't watch her at all now because I worry about
I get it.
Taking from her, you know.
You ever watch her Netflix show?
Yeah, I've watched it.
It was so great.
Oh, it was so great.
I was
Lady
so bummed
Dynamite?
out that it got canceled.
It's crazy.
Because I felt like it was unfair because they should have given it a shot because it was good. It was the writing was good and she was actually figuring it out and it was starting to have a style.
Yeah, I think it would have been great. I think she also doesn't. I don't know. I think she gets overwhelmed, and so it might have been partially her, like not really wanting, because she's very much on her own wavelength of like, Like she came to town recently and she was supposed to. She was going to do Cap City. And then I was thinking of going with a few people to see her.
She canceled it.
Yeah, and she canceled it. And as soon as she canceled it, I messaged. It was like, yeah, it's par for the course. Like that happens with Maria, which is, why she's also so great, is she doesn't force that. She has to be into it.
Yeah, well, I think it's, she kind of hit the mainstream partially because back, I think in 2008, she had that sort of breakdown on stage.
Was that 2008? I thought it was later than that.
Was it later? I don't know.
In Chicago?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Was it Chicago? I thought it was LA, but whatever.
She went to a psych ward in Chicago, or like after Chicago.
Yeah, there was video footage of it, and it made a big splash because it was just kind of shocking, right? It's just like this comic just has a meltdown on stage, but like a real one, not like a screamy one, right? But one where she just kind of implodes and just leaves. She was like, I just can't, and then she heads out, and she just goes home or goes to the ward. I don't know, right? And I think probably since then, I bet she just doesn't allow herself to get to a point where she feels like that's going to happen.
Well, she's talked about that in length too, of like, which is something I really look up to and respect, is that she's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like my comedy, and that's okay. Don't come to my shows. Right. Please don't. Like, it's like, that's okay. I want you to have a fun time. Please, if you're bringing your friends, show them a clip first. Yeah. Because I'm not for everybody, and I don't want to be for everybody. And that's such a respectful thing about, oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't if you don't like it, don't come.
Yeah.
It should be like that for all comics, though.
Yeah.
And people kind of never learn that lesson.
Yeah.
Or I think certain people who are coincidentally some of the most obnoxious people like to think of themselves as open to any style. Like they think that they can just go to a comedy club.
I don't think it's possible.
And but if you think that, you're probably obnoxious in general. Like you think so highly of yourself.
You think you never bomb?
Yeah.
That's great. That's a crazy person.
Right.
That's insane. That terrifies me.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've been killing all the time. All the time?
Yeah, I know.
What? I bomb several times a week, horrifically.
Well, people like that, they are delusional.
Yeah.
And the problem with stand-up is that can work for you. Because I've seen a lot of people who are so deluded that they make it just on the power of their delusion alone. Because here's the thing about stand-up is that nobody's paying attention to anybody else, right? Yeah. You come out of the showroom, people are like, how'd it go? All you ever have to say is amazing. And they will believe you because they didn't bother to watch you. Because a lot of comics respect nobody, just their own selves. They want to focus on themselves, right? So you can just kind of get through a lot of channels just by pure lying and bravado. Like just act like you're the shit, and you can get pretty far. I mean, there's a point where you can't get any further, but you can get pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I think people lose respect for you.
Well, they'll start watching you because when you get to that level, then they'll go, I wonder what this person's about. Let me go check it out. And then they just see you bomb, right? Yeah. And then you come out of the room and you're like, great.
Oh,
amazing.
That's what's been happening. Yeah. You connected.
We have one, there was one comic who lied about how long he'd been doing comedy to get on a spot on a headliner's show. The headliner was handing out spots like candy the night before, but he straight up lied about how long he'd been doing comedy for like a month. He said he'd been doing it for like, I think he said 8 months, and bombed horribly.
Well, of course.
Like
he probably did stand-up workshop.
He was
like, how do people 10 months in move and act and talk? I'll do that. And they wrote it.
And now, like, I see this guy going around, and he's kind of like the kind of person who latches on to a bigger name and is hoping to ride that coattail. He's like opening the doors for this dude like all the time whenever he comes to the club and shit. It's hilarious.
How long ago was it that he tried to get on the show?
He did get on the show. This was about a month and a half ago.
Can I say a name and we can cut it out? Because I think I know.
Oh shit!
Because I know who you're talking about.
Is that something we can do, Justin? Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you know him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah, that's lying about the time you've been doing it is so I don't know. It's so unnecessary because you should be getting, if you're a month in, you should be getting You should just be going to open mic, even
Yeah.
if you're really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was always very upfront about how long I'd been, because that's good. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
It's crazy to.
Yeah.
Some people though, they're those rare talents, and they don't come around very often. Where they'll be a month in, they'll get on stage, and they are funny.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
But you
they
still
don't
say
tend
you've
to
been
even have to lie though. Yeah, they'll still be like, I'm new, and people will book them anyway because it's like,
Yeah.
you're hilarious.
Then it'll be even cooler. Be, oh, you're a month in.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
Yeah, and that shows like that mentality of like he feels like he has to lie, he feels like he has to ride someone else's coattails and open doors for him and all this kind of shit. It's like, yeah, he knows he's not funny. He's not willing to put in the work to get funnier. He's just gonna try the quickest lane to the top or as close to the top as he can, and then try to figure out some bullshit.
Well, but that's not a bad instinct.
I think he's a good guy.
Yeah,
I think
that's not the worst instinct about stand up.
No, it's not.
It's not necessarily bad to do. You just have to have you have to have something to back it up.
Yeah,
That's all.
Yeah.
but I feel like he knows he doesn't, and that's why he's doing it.
Yeah. It could just be, a lot of a self-esteem thing,
Yeah.
or maybe growing up he just didn't feel confident. But I think he's a good guy, and I think he's funny. I just I noticed that too, that the anxiety, you don't have to lie about it.
Yeah.
Just be honest and be patient. I wasn't patient when I started.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything bad. I just remember like going to a bunch of mics and just like bombing, and then I would go to my friends and I'd be like, I don't understand what I'm doing, because I was doing like 3-4 mics a night. And it's like, it's not happening. I'm not getting spots. I'm like, right, you're 3 months in.
Are you an angry person?
No, I think it's all internal, like the anxiety and whenever I'm upset, it goes inward. I don't think I'm an angry person.
You're very soft spoken.
Yeah, I think
Soft spokenness is a tell. It's like,
Is it?
that there's a lot of shit going on in there?
Yeah, Melissa tries to enrage soft-spoken people a lot.
No, I don't. That's not true.
Or
Is that your takeaway from that?
Okay, fine. I'll
I don't do that.
I'll slightly take that back. The one other guest we had on who was very soft spoken, she tried to get to like, what makes you really angry? Like,
No, because he was just kind of like folding into himself on the corner, like where you're sitting right now. He's just like folding into himself, and so what I was trying to do is I was like trying to get him out. I was like, come out. So I'm not trying to derange anybody. I just try to say what I think it needs to be said for that person to feel like coming out,
Yeah.
like come out of your shell, come out and say hi. That's all. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
But you're kind of squarely out of your shell.
Yeah, I'm pretty out of my shell. I mean, I don't do podcasts much at all. I have a solo podcast, but I don't go on
I've
other
seen
people's, because it's stress. It does make me, this is wonderful. I'm having a great time. But yeah, I feel most free when I'm alone.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
same. Like we talk about where we like to hang out. I pretty much just hang out at Creek in the back
Yeah.
patio. It's the best hangout spot.
Oh, it's great.
And most of the time I'm back there, I'm just sitting by myself thinking of like my stories and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
So-
why when I come here, I go sit next to him so we can be
Yeah.
alone together.
That's great.
Justin comes too. And then the three of us, everybody thinks we're hanging out, but we're actually hanging out alone.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
In our minds.
It's a magic trick. It's like parallel play, what kids do. They'll like sit. That's a thing in special ed, is they'll be like, oh, a lot of kids with autism, and it'll be like, oh, you think he's playing with that kid, but in reality, they're just sitting next to each other playing by themselves. And so it's parallel play. It's like, oh, that's how autism can go so long without being diagnosed, is like, oh, we thought he was getting along with the kids, but in reality, he was just, he was playing soccer, but he was kind of just standing in the goalies thing by himself. He didn't want to play with those kids. You know what I mean?
Do you think if, let's say you had not discovered stand-up or had decided it wasn't for you, do you think you would have been maybe like a child psychologist or something like that? Do you have a background in therapy? You seem to.
Yeah, well, I worked in special ed, and that's what I would have
I'm sorry to
continued to
hear
do. I wanted to be a special ed teacher. That was my whole goal, my whole plan. I was going to college. When I started comedy, I was about to go to college and major in special education. So that was, and then I found comedy, then I dropped out
Yeah.
before I even started.
I was about to work for the Department of Homeland Security.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I was on a pilot program for minorities from the Bronx to join the State Department. Yay.
You would have been in that CIA diversity hire video.
Yeah. Well, it's just,
Diversity hire.
I don't know. I think everybody around me kind of propelled me towards it because they just kind of, I think people see my look, they see the glasses, and they think community college brochure, right? Activist, right? And so everybody was just like, you got to get into politics, right? It's just because I talk a lot of shit. And so, but the further along I went, the more I was like, this isn't for me. I fucking hate all these people. I hate blazers. I don't want to wear a blazer, and like sensible shoes. They basically look like fucking Kamala Harris, like a light skinned Kamala Harris, I don't need that shit. So here I am.
That's great.
No.
Why'd you want to do special ed? Specifically?
I've always connected to it. I was in special ed.
You were?
Yeah, as a kid.
Well, what's your,
I have a general processing disorder. I swear to God, that's what I was dying. I don't fully know what it means. I know it affects like just processing of all different kind of communication, reading, math, stuff like that.
how's that feel like?
I've always kind of just felt I just struggle with picking things up. That was always my thing. Is like learning things took me significantly longer, and I in all subjects.
That is a weird one. Whenever they diagnose something and they just throw general in there, general processing disorder. It's like, we don't know exactly what you can't process, but
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Well, if you look,
This isn't good.
if you do a deep dive into many of the diagnoses, right? They all kind of boil down to we don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But these are the symptoms. And
Absolutely.
you go like, all right, and then the symptoms are just extremely just anyone can have them.
Oh, it's crazy. I remember when I worked at special ed, there was what is it called? It's several letters. It's like education. It's like a cognitive delay, not otherwise specified, or something of that nature. Not otherwise specified with the last letters though.
Wow.
And it was, I would say 80% of our kids had that, and it would be like.
How convenient.
Insanely different.
Yeah.
Like one kid would be like essentially normal, just struggled a little bit with processing. And then we'd have a kid that was like nonverbal.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, oh, they should not be in the same
are the
class.
same.
This should not be diagnosed with the same diagnosis at all.
Oh, it's horrible. Because then those kids that are higher, like just developmentally, they're put in the same class and they're fucked.
Yeah.
Like it's so unfair to those kids.
Yeah.
So unfair.
Yeah. Is that partly why you left? Because disappointment?
I think, but when you do a job that means a lot to you, because I care about kids and I care about vulnerable people so much, it becomes really sad because you realize, like, especially in Texas, because I worked in Katy near Houston, there's like this aspect of, we have to follow all these rules and we can't really, like I've talked about it before of, I worked in a class, all the kids were in wheelchairs, seizure disorders, nonverbal.
Yeah.
And we, essentially the developmental level of like 3 to 6 month olds. And we had to teach them like algebra and aquatic science. It's like, this is like they don't know how to feed themselves. They can't go to the bathroom on their own. They can't, and we have to sit here and be like, this triangle is acute. So why are we even, they're not opening their eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to do this. This is a waste of my time and this is a waste of their time.
I got this theory about people who end up falling into stand-up, and every time we do a podcast episode with a comic, it always comes down to a similar thing, which is you're a person who gave a shit about a field, and then you get into it and it's been abstracted out so much that you can't even do the job in the way that would actually allow you to care. Yeah. Right? So then you are fucked. You give a shit too much. You know that being a part of it actually makes you a part of a machine almost that goes the opposite direction of what you think needs to be done, or to care for these kids. And so then you just leave out of disillusionment.
It's like, I can't, if I can't help them, I don't want to sit here and watch them go through this.
I know people who are former lawyers. I know people who are former doctors, people like you who worked in special ed. I know people, and they all end up doing stand-up comedy because it's because it's a strange situation because it's like this society has gotten so sophisticated that it's actually over sophisticated.
Yeah,
and
I feel that.
It's like we're at a level of modern society where some of the modern institutions are actually, instead of helping people, they're starting to kind of harm people a lot of the time, or sometimes,
Yeah.
like the infrastructure is like actively hostile to people, and it causes all these illnesses and all this shit, and people just get kind of disillusioned with shit, and you just end up fucking doing stand-up comedy of all, you know what I mean? How fucked up, how strange is that? Like a person could have been a lawyer and fought for civil rights, but then you go and you see the fucking actual justice system, and then you go, I'm gonna go tell dick jokes.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? Like, fuck what people would try to spin it as, because I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of this means. I just think that that's so absurd that is happening. You know?
It's crazy.
I also think stand-up is good for fascism, but that's a separate thing.
Yeah, I just had a good idea, or what I think is a good idea. Honestly, you taught special ed class, so you way more qualified for this than necessary. But a Reier Cammerman comedy class where you teaching like
No. I am so firmly against comedy classes.
me too.
Firmly.
It's mostly a joke, but also treating the comics like they were special ed kids.
It'd be funny.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. The only comedy anything, if you really want to, and this is more a lesson in like the history of writing comedy, stand-up comedy, than actual learning, right? That comedy Bible book, you ever read that?
No, I've heard about it though.
The comedy Bible book is like 7 chapters. Really is like a classic. A lot of comics start when they want to learn stand-up. Like they'll buy that book, they'll buy this book, they'll buy Franklin Agaye's like Comic Insights, right? And then they'll take a class or some shit like that, right? But the comedy Bible, a lot of people gravitate to that book because that's like the tome, right?
Yeah.
But really, the only thing you need from that book is like 3 pages.
Yeah.
And it just breaks down the structure of a classic joke.
That's awesome.
And I think aside from that, if you really want to do that, otherwise you could just learn it intuitively. You don't need classes. You don't need anything. You don't need shit.
Yeah.
You just got to get on stage.
Well, and I think throwing out structure completely and going, oh, let's figure out just when they laugh.
Yeah.
Like there's no, like throwing out setup punchline and just figuring out when they laugh is how you become a unique comedian that no one can replicate. And I haven't gotten there yet, but like that no one can replicate because you're not following any algorithm.
Yeah. So you're kind of covertly trying to fight algorithms. Like you're at war against.
I guess trying to do, trying to firmly be against, well, I guess what's already been done.
Make a stand, Reier. Just make a stand.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it, right? Do you feel like this is something you're pushing back against? Like you're just trying to like defeat in yourself, around you, get
kind
rid
of
it?
just finding what's funny, but doing it in a, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that I connect to that I, maybe have the social anxiety that I do, or the I don't know, that I just want. I feel like I can tell jokes in a way that connect to them that other jokes haven't. Sorry, that didn't make sense.
No,
that did make sense.
Yeah.
Especially would make sense to your audience. They'll get it.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. So you think so you're trying to do comedy geared towards a certain cognitive aesthetic.
Kind of, yeah. I guess it's
Sorry to make that boring. But
no,
it's sound boring. Yeah.
I guess it's just anybody it's just trying to make people think in a different way. And like and kind of removing stigma from different things and going, oh no, this you don't I'm not gonna do crowd work. I'm not gonna talk about sex or race or politics much. This is funny though.
Yeah.
Let's like I mean, not to everybody, and it's who knows what I'll talk about. But
that's part of what you play with in your like be relatable Reier bits is like, it's playing on the fact that like, oh yeah, some of this absurd shit that you're about to say, nobody else is gonna relate to. Some people will because they have thought about the pin cap or whatever the fuck. But yeah,
it's like it's refusing to conform.
You know, what you should
Yeah.
do when you start, really headlining and getting out there and, bringing you should do like how people do discounts for veterans. You should do discounts for special ed, like former special ed students, like the veterans of the special ed system,
Yeah.
You should do discounts, like special discounts for them to get them come to you, to get them to,
discount.
like, this is for you. Come.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, is it okay if we wrap up? I have people come in at 4.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is okay. Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun episode. Thank you, everybody. Reier, you do have a show coming up at the Creek in the
Yes.
Cave, Reier Cammerman and Friends.
Yes, it's on Thursday, May 23rd at 9 p.m.
Yep, and
Very
hopefully that'll
excited.
be happening again and again. I really want to see Reier getting the show coming back. Melissa, it's been fun.
Yeah, likewise. Wait, where can they find you on social media?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. On Instagram is best. Reier_Cammerman. REIER Reier.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
All right. And I'm Melissa Diaz for you. And where can they find you?
Mine is retarded. It's at,
It's retarded. It's at retarded.
At
so
Retarded Clay.
anyway, yeah.
it's at, my name is Mud9210 on Instagram.
Awesome.
Cool. It's been fun. Thank y'all, everybody, for watching Turtle Reads. Bye.